Hey, yo, what's going on, guys? It's BaLLHaWK here. Today we're bringing you the draft analysis for my draft for the Quarantine Draft League for Season 3. We are stuck in the Indigo Plateau Division, joined by the likes of JRSD, Seth, and many others. And it's a 12-team division. There will be 9 weeks in the regular season. 6 teams make it to playoffs, with the first 2 seeds getting a bye week. And we took over a team halfway through last season, and we were looking pretty good after the first few weeks that we took over. We were looking like we were going to make it into the playoffs with a 3 seed. However, a couple of blunders on my part in the last 2 weeks kind of kicked ourselves out of the playoffs. Snatched defeat from the jaws of victory there, and we're looking to avoid that this season. So this is the first season in the Quarantine Draft League that I am participating in full. Where we get to, perform our own draft and taking over, joining the league from week 1. And so this is entirely our season and looking to make the most of it. We are the Milwaukee Miltanks, and we are looking for the crown this season in the Quarantine Draft League. And so here I'm going to just kind of go over my draft, round by round. I'm going to give you my thoughts on my team, my thought process when I was kind of looking at the tier list a little bit, and just what I wanted to build around, and kind of give you my overall thoughts on the team. Looking forward to looking into the season. So, without further ado, let's get into pick number 1. Starting off the draft, we had the 3rd overall pick, and I thought, who better to start building my team around other than the ever versatile Mew Girl. I have, ever since I started playing draft leagues, Mew has always kind of been very alluring to start a team around, just for the sheer vast move pool that it has. It gets every move from the Isle of Armor, which we are including in this league. So Grassy Glide and Dual Wing Beat, Terrain Pulse, all those Mew can use. Just in addition to its already just massive move pool, Mew is one of those things that can be very problematic when you're looking at the team previewer for if it's on your opponent's team. Just, you can almost guarantee that it's going to come to the battle, but you can never really pinpoint exactly what set it's going to run. It can run something completely different each week of the season just because of, all the different, just hats it can try on. It's just so versatile. It kind of, right out the gate, gives me a setup sweeper, a bulky cleric, momentum, it could be a suicide lead, hazard removal. It is such a great glue to start building your team around. It's just a great backbone. And so right out the gates, round 1, pick number 3, I'm feeling very solid with this. It's just, there's nothing really bad to say about Mew. It's a very safe pick. You're not going to ruin your team by picking Mew. It's kind of like Tornado Therian in that regard. It's just one of those Pokemon that if you have Mew on your team's looking pretty solid either way at the end of the day. So I was very excited to get Mew. The first 2 picks, just to kind of give you some context around this, the first pick overall was Tapu Bulu and Aegislash. So neither of those 2 picks I was really kind of looking to take first overall. The only other picks that I was really considering there was maybe Mega Scizor or Tapu Koko maybe. Or no, Tapu Koko was actually banned actually. Oh, that's right. Now it's coming back to me a little bit. Tapu Koko and Tapu Lele were banned. So I was kind of looking to pick up either Mega Scizor or Mega Gallade, which would have been, they both would have been 17-point Pokemon had I not taken Mew, just because I think those are the 2 best Megas in the format. Without having HP Fire, Mega Scizor is just, it's so hard to get off the field, and Mega Gallade is just, it's one of those Pokemon that as soon as it comes in, it's almost guaranteed to get a kill. So I thought those 2 would have been good options, but ultimately I went with Mew, just because I think Mew is able to check those boxes as well and do many, many more things for my team. And it kind of gives me the freedom for the rest of the draft to just, I'm not sitting here building around a Mega Gallade or a Mega Scizor. At this point, I have Mew, and it's almost like, with my next pick, it's kind of like round 1 all over again, where Mew is just one of those Pokemon that you don't have to build around for it to succeed. It succeeds on its own. And so I felt getting Mew here allowed me to take my 2nd round pick and the rest of my draft a little more freely, and just kind of, have more opportunities to think about how I want to build my team. after seeing what comes back to me in the second round. So, and I was very happy to see that BaLLHaWK, or as she will be known as on the Milwaukee Miltanks, Lola, made it back to me all the way at the end of the second round. I am super excited. Both these first two picks. So the underlying theme of this draft is that none of these Pokemon that I have on my team, I'm not familiar with any of these in draft format. So I'm not sure how to perform with them. I'm not sure entirely how to use them aside from just the obvious with like BaLLHaWK. BaLLHaWK is a blisteringly fast physical sweeper, cleaner. Outside of just the obvious things like that, I haven't used any of these Pokemon before. Generally, there's maybe one that I have some experience with in a previous season where I had it the entire time, but that's it. The rest of them are just kind of I'm learning these for the first time this season, but I'm not too nervous about that. I'm actually more excited than I am nervous about it, just because that's part of the fun of this is in draft leagues you're not stuck on a ladder where you get the pick of whatever Pokemon you want to build your team around. You can change that after any battle. This is kind of like these 11 Pokemon, these 9 to 11 Pokemon. They're with you for however long the season is, and it's up to you to use them to the best of your abilities. And so it's kind of a fun and exciting challenge. And so I'm excited for the opportunity to use Pokemon that I'm not necessarily used to using. I think it's going to make me better as a battler, and I'm excited about it. BaLLHaWK coming in at pick number 2 for me. Just sets an amazing speed tier for my team, and she got some pretty cool gifts in the elite moves. Now having access to U-turn, close combat, not having to worry about high jump kick. She does not get return anymore, so that's unfortunate. But having fake out, quick attack, U-turn, close combat, and the elemental punches and mega kick, and she's got options. She's got coverage. She's gonna hit extremely hard. With a scrappy ability, I'm not worried about Ghost switching on her fighting type moves. So I think it's another thing, just being able to pair Mew and BaLLHaWK together. Kind of like what I said with Mew. I'm not looking to build around Mew. However, Mew kind of is a good defensive check or pivot for a BaLLHaWK. Whereas if a Fairy or a Flying type comes onto the field, or a Psychic type comes onto the field and is looking to threaten BaLLHaWK with a Scarf or something like that, or in Trick Room even. I feel pretty comfortable being able to switch out to Mew and stall it out and pivot out to something else that's better equipped to handle that threat. So I'm excited to use BaLLHaWK. I'm looking to see if I can make her maybe the kill leader this season in the Mountain Lion or in the Indigo Plateau division, and I'm excited. I think our team is in good. After 2 picks, our team is in really good shape. And then after this pick, I kind of ran into just, I guess, the equivalent of writer's block, if there's a thing for Draft League. I really wasn't sure exactly where I wanted to go with my team at this point. So, this pick, after I made the BaLLHaWK pick, my next pick came back to me pretty fast, and I kind of sat on it for a little bit, kind of consulting my peers and friends and stuff around the community. Ultimately, I saw Gliscor sitting there, and I was just like, I've never used it before. It's always such an annoying mon to get off the field, and I believe we are able to stat pass in this league. So I figured, what? Why not? I think it's another one of those things that it's just such a good defensive check, and it has the ability to set up and be an offensive threat as well. Having the Poison Heal and Toxic Orb, it's just an annoyingly bulky and just it has probably the best longevity of any Pokemon in the tier, honestly. Aside from just the Pokemon that are meant to be bulky and just stick around. I think Gliscor is one of those Pokemon that it's always kind of overlooked, overshadowed by Landorus Therian. However, just the sheer utility that he provides, and Claudaddy here, got all my nicknames up on the slide there. Got Claudaddy, the utility that he provides. So right away I have 2 defoggers, 2 very reliable defoggers. That are going to be around for the long haul in the battle. Gliscor can set up agility, a rock polish, or Swords Dance and baton pass it out, or just become a sweeper in his own right. There's the Toxic Orb Fling Acrobatics set. There's Roost. There's U-turn. There's right away the first three picks. I have 3 momentum moves on. A momentum move on all of them, and you can even run Flip Turn. So I like the momentum that my team has, the defensive shocks that it has, and just being able to pivot into something like Mega Lopunny. If I'm able to get her in for free, she's gonna do damage, and she just needs a little bit of chip on most things to be able to take them out and make my opponent's team a little, thinner, I guess, if you will, throughout the battle. So I like the direction that it was going at this point, and then here we kind of sat for another 30 whatever picks, 24 picks or so for our next pick. At this point, I kind of had a theme of the next two picks or an idea of the next two picks I wanted to take. Just kind of going off again things that I haven't used before. Kind of getting as many typings as I want or as I can, getting just versatility and just, I liked the overall bulk that my team had at this point. So my next pick, I decided to go with SG1 and Volcanion. And SG1, I'll give you guys a little background on. You may not know what that stands for. Honestly, I didn't before this, a couple years ago. So usually if I have trouble nicknaming some of my Pokemon, I'll ask my girlfriend, say, hey, when you look at this image, this Pokemon, what screams out to you? What do you think of? And she thought Stargate. So if you're not familiar with Stargate, it's kind of an older television show, kind of equivalent to what maybe, I don't know, like Breaking Bad, or not necessarily Breaking Bad, but it is, it had 11 seasons, I believe it was, and it was kind of like Star Trek-y, almost. That's probably the best reference to it. But their unit was SG1, and they would go to different planets, and there's different stargates is what they were called, and so they'd be like wormholes. They porch you to different worlds all across the universe and everything like that. So it basically looked like a Volcanion, the Stargate. So Volcanion is nicknamed SG1 for Stargate 1. Again, I really like Volcanion. I think he checks Gliscor's weaknesses extremely well. Gliscor is generally weak to ice and water, and so Volcanion is able to come in and he's immune to water, and he is able to heavily resist ice, and in turn Gliscor and Volcanion they cover each other's checks extremely well, with Volcanion being weak to electric and ground and Gliscor being immune to both of them. So our team is looking I love the way that this is coming together so far. I've got two physical sweepers, I have a physical sweeper / cleaner and Mega Lopunny. Gliscor could be a physical setup sweeper if need be. Volcanion can just be a special sweeper with a choice specs and 4 moves, or it could be a setup or a substitute set. My team is looking very versatile for the first 4 picks, and I'm ultimately just really liking the way it's going so far. We hadn't really been sniped at all yet at this point, and I think, just kind of, I even remember thinking that, and I had an idea of what I wanted to take next, and I was kind of debating whether I should take Volcanion first or the next Pokemon that I wanted first. Ultimately, I went with Volcanion, and it came back to bite me. The next Pokemon that I was wanting to take was Magnezone. However, I think it was 2 picks before me, so yeah, the team with the first overall pick, Moon T, the Backstreet Scraggies, he sniped Magnezone right in front of me, and so I had to go back to the drawing board and kind of think of a different plan. But ultimately, steel types were kind of there was a little bit of a run on steel types at this point in the draft, and I didn't want to be left sitting here wishing I had a good bulky steel type. I was going to go with Magnezone because it kind of, again, provided me some really good synergy with Volcanion and Gliscor, and even Mega Lopunny being able to check fairy types. But that's the way that goes sometimes. You gotta stay water and be able to adapt to the flow of the draft. And I like to say that no plan is probably the best plan when going into a draft. You kind of maybe plan out your first 2 picks that you want to build around, and then just throughout the draft you kind of look at what's available at your pick and say, okay, what complements this best? Just kind of going off past experiences when I have had, I've sat here for like an hour and kind of thought about, okay, what do I want my team to look like? And then by the end of the draft, half of that doesn't even look the same because things were taken from me. So it's best to not have a plan, in my opinion, and just kind of build off of your picks as they come. So, however, in this case, I wasn't really doing that. I was just, I was sitting at the corner. I'm pick 3, so after this pick, there were only 2 more picks before I got to take another Pokemon, and so I was hoping to be able to come back and take Magnezone, next. However, it was Snite, and I decided to go with Duraludon. Duraludon is another one of those kind of just, it's versatile, and it's kind of overlooked a lot of times. It's got a pretty, it's deceptively high special attack at 120, and its attack isn't anything that's needed either at 95. It's got heavy metal, light metal, and stalwart. I can't see myself bringing stalwart at all. I think that's more of a VGC ability. I don't see it having an effect in singles. However, heavy metal or light metal, depending on the matchup or what my opponent usually does, I'll probably typically bring heavy metal. Having things, he can run a very physically bulky set and just be a very reliable rock setter. It's just a heavy slam, body press, and just that fourth move. Draco Meteor is still going to hit. He's got electric, dark, dragon coverage. May even have more than that. But he could be a deceptively strong or a special sweeper after some chip has been done to the opponent's team. He's got a lot of coverage. He's got a lot of different things that he can do. And so at this point, I've got 2 reliable rock setters. I've got a spike setter as well in Mew. And then I've got 3 really good defoggers in Mew, Gliscor, and Volcanion. And so at this point also I've got 2, so I don't really have much of a core completion yet. I've got the Fire and Water and Volcanion, still looking for my Grass type. I've got my Steel and Dragon and Duraludon, still looking for my Fairy type. And so I've got 2 legs of both of those cores completed. And so in the next couple of picks I was kind of looking to fill those in. It's kind of funny enough, I didn't plan on this, kind of like what I was telling you about, hoping to get Magnezone here, but having 2 Pokemon complete 4 legs individually of a Fire, Water, Grass core and a Dragon Steel Fairy core, it's kind of funny. But yeah, I didn't plan it that way, but ultimately I'm excited. I'm excited to use Duraludon. It's kind of one of those that just kind of gets overlooked a little bit. Usually you target things more like Latias or Hydreigon, or Dragons are typically more so, aside from things like Druddigon, they're meant there to be damage dealers. But I don't think Duraludon is necessarily labeled as just that. He can definitely be a very potent damage dealer in his own right with a 120 special attack. That's a very good special attack set. But he can do a lot of different things, and so versatility I think is the underlying theme of my team so far. And this is Volcanion and Duraludon are the only 2 picks so far that don't have U-turn or flip turn or Volt Switch. So I'm really liking my draft so far, and at this point, like I said, I'm just trying to look at completing some of my cores here. And so with the next pick, we took Snapdragon and Florges. Snapdragon, if you're not familiar, is a white flower. I was just looking for some creative nickname to call her, and I think it's kind of ironic that she's got dragon in her name, and she is the resident dragon check on my team. She's there to snap them dragons back. So Florges coming in at pick number 6 for the Milwaukee Miltanks. The first thing you notice when you look at her is just a massive special defense stat. And so this is going to be our special wall for the most part. We've got a physical wall in Duraludon and essentially Gliscor. And then Florges is our special wall. And having Flower Veil is good. But just being a base or a mono fairy type is very good defensively. Duraludon is going to check a lot of her weaknesses, aside from... Duraludon is going to be there to check all of her weaknesses. Duraludon in combination with Volcanion. We're just going to have a lot of fun passing wishes to the rest of my team this season. And being just, she's the only cleric or wish passer that I have on my team. Which normally I would look to get a second one, in all honesty, but the fact that Florges is just so good at what she does, I don't really think that it needed another one. And she's got a pretty good special attack stat in 120, and so, I've seen Florges set up before and win championships for other teams. So she's not necessarily just a wish passer cleric defensive Pokemon. However, that's probably her best set. And the one that I will maybe bring most often. But again, I've never used Florges, and again, this is another defogger, and so I've got plenty of hazard setters, plenty of hazard removals, and this is only pick 6. And so my team is just I feel very good with my team right now, and I feel like not having a plan coming into this, I'm doing a good job at building around what I have and picking things that complement each other very well at this point. And I was looking to keep it going with my next pick in Kubota. Now, Rotom Mow is the only Pokemon on my team that I have previous experience using, reliably, I guess I should say. I drafted Rotom Mow in the inaugural season of the Indigo Plateau Association last season, and had it for all 11 weeks, including the one round we were in playoffs. And it performed very well for me, and losing out on Magnezone, I wanted to get I was going to plan on Magnezone being my electric type, but having lost on that, I kind of committed to wanting a Rotom just because they're so good and so versatile. Having moves like Will-O-Wisp and Thunder Wave to cripple my opponent, Pain Split can keep it around and just make it an annoying Pokemon to get rid of. Nasty Plot can make its damage or its attacks do a hell of a lot more than they already do. Leaf Storm is nothing to sneeze at, and being able to decide between Thunderbolt and Volt Switch each week, and again being another defogger, Kubota is going to do a lot of good things for me this season. It's very bulky. Its resists go very well with the rest of my team, and my team just kind of checks its own threats very well at this point. And so that was kind of the last of my, every Pokemon up to this point was a double-digit cost, and so I believe we were down to maybe 17 points to try to fill up at least 2 more spots, but I was aiming to get 3 more spots just because I believe having a 9-man roster is a little bit limiting, and it makes it easier for your opponents to prep for you, so I wanted to make sure I got at least 10. And so this next pick, I was kind of weak to ice at this point. Duraludon and Volcanion were the only great checks to ice, and so I thought, hey, BaLLHaWK's sitting down there at the cost of 7, and it kind of feels like a steal at this point. And so why don't we add Thick Cut to the Milwaukee Miltanks? Having Oblivious and Thick Fat are 2 amazing abilities on this Pokemon, and it's so bulky being able to carry Eviolate. It's got a good attack stat at 100. With Eviolate, the defense is going to be up to around 120, and the special defense is going to be at 110, or at 90, I believe. Just because what Eviolate does is it multiplies the defense and special defense stats by 1.5 for not fully evolved Pokemon. So BaLLHaWK, or Thick Cut as I'll refer to him this season, is just going to be there as a very bulky, ice ground threat. It's BaLLHaWK light, but much bulkier. He'll be immune to Pokemon that's set up, so it's kind of a blanket check for things like Dragapult or Kyurem or things that just really want to set up and sweep. Oblivious will be there to kind of... I'm mistaken. That's unaware that I was thinking. Oblivious is going to mean that he's immune to Taunt. Or things that affect his move choice. So, still a really good ability. He'll be immune to Intimidate. And, yeah, I believe that's the best use for it. But anyway, yeah, his Earthquakes and Icicle Crashes are going to do a lot. Ice Shard is, it's a good priority move on him. Again, another Rock Setter. BaLLHaWK is going to be it was a good addition to my team, and I feel lucky to be able to grab him in round 8 here for 7 points. I feel like he easily could have been around 8 or 9 points and gone a round or 2 higher just because of the value that provides, I believe. But happy to get him here, and my team is just I'm honestly in love with my team at this point. Aside from the lone Magnezone snipe, I honestly couldn't be happier with my team at this point. And so after this BaLLHaWK pick, I felt very comfortable with my team. I didn't think there were too many holes to fill. There's a lot of momentum and a lot of things that just they cover each other's checks very well, and so I wasn't really necessarily weak for one thing. So I was really just kind of like, aside from having maybe a slower Pokemon, I know BaLLHaWK is speed 50, but I believe that's the slowest Pokemon on my team at this point, so maybe having a slower Mon would help out a bit, just to kind of cover my speed tiers a little better. And Aside from that, my team, I felt very good with it, and it allowed me the freedom with my last 2 picks, having 10 points, to just kind of, pick a couple of Pokemon that are fun, that could provide a lot of utility to my team, and just maybe give my opponents some headaches or things that they wouldn't expect normally, or just things that I really want to try. And so, the first pick that I went with that was a 7-point Slowbro Galar, calling him Bro Tank. I love that nickname for this guy. So he's there to be I could see him being a Trick Room Sweeper. He could be a bulky Regenerator Pivot with Teleport. Or I could just keep Quick Draw on him and annoy opponents with, I wonder if I were to run Quick Draw each week, how many times it would trigger throughout the season. That could be a fun stat to keep track of. But it's a little gimmicky. I don't know if I'm going to do it often, maybe once or twice. We'll see. But I'm excited. I love the Slowbro family. They're so bulky. They're really good at having a Poison Psychic type. It's the only one in the Pokedex of all the Pokemon that exists. It's the only Poison Psychic type, aside from Slowpoke Galar. But yeah, no, I'm excited to use Bro Tank. Very, very versatile. He can be a physical attacker with Belly Drum and the coverage there, or he can be a special attacker with Shell Sidearm and all the special coverage that he gets that a Slowbro isn't necessarily able to take advantage of typically. This thing gets like Flamethrower, Scald, Thunderbolt, and a bunch of other stuff. I believe that it's kind of weird that he gets all that. But I'm not complaining. I got him for 7 points, and it gives me a 30 speed tier, so I can take advantage of Trick Room if the matchup provides a good outlet or a good opportunity for it. I could see Mew setting Trick Room and then you turning out into Slowbro, allowing Slowbro to just fire off whatever coverage move I need to with maybe a Expert Belt or something. But yeah, I'm excited to use this. I think I'm not going to force it onto the field, but I'm excited to see just how many times I do end up bringing it, just because of its special coverage or just its defensive utility could be good from week to week, even though it doesn't have that high defense or special defense like Slowbro or Slowking do. This is more of an offensive threat. However, it's got decent enough bulk at 95, 95, and 70. So it's not, it's not outrageous to say that I can bring it as a defensive pivot. Because it's got Regenerator, which is a great defensive pivoting ability, and it still does have Teleport, so it's not out of the realm of possibilities. And at this point in the draft, it left us with 3 points to spend on up to 2 picks. But at this point, I felt just 1 would do, and the opportunity to use this next Pokemon just seemed too juicy. Too much fun, and I think that's the underlying theme of my draft is just fun. I'm excited to use every single Pokemon on this team, including Frothy. It's just one of those things that everybody thinks about. Yeah, I could get Protean at the end of the draft with Frogadier. It's not Greninja, but it's still Frogadier. Everybody's kind of like, I think a lot of people keep it in the back of their mind, or even now with Raboot, they're like, yeah, I could get Protean or I could get Libero, but they just never do. For one reason or another, maybe their team doesn't need it, or they have second thoughts, or they pivot away from it for whatever reason, one reason or another. I thought, why the hell not? Let's go with Frothy. Let's get Frogadier. Let's get a Protean user on my team. Having just the universal stab coverage is pretty awesome. It doesn't have the great coverage that Greninja has. However, it's good enough. Having Stab Ice, Stab Water, Stab Dark. It's got spikes and toxic spikes, I believe. Or maybe it doesn't have. Maybe it's only got one of those. Either way, it's got a form of spikes. I'll recheck that after the video. And just being able to hit extremely hard. It's got U-turn. It's got a good speed tier 97. I can run Scarf on this and outspeed Zero Aura at max Jolly. And so that's pretty cool. And fire off stab, special attacks. I think I might surprise people with how many times I bring Frogadier each week. It's just, it's another water type, in addition to Volcanion. However, it's just, it's not necessarily just a water type. It's kind of just an all-around glue, kind of like Mew in the regards, just thanks to Protean being able to change its ability. And ultimately, I don't see myself using BaLLHaWK on this too much. It's pretty frail as it is with 54, 52, and 56 defense stats. So I don't think BaLLHaWK is going to do a whole lot for it. However, I mean, it could be enough some weeks. Ultimately, I see myself using more of a choice scarf or a specs or expert belt or something along those lines that would give it a little more power, or even a life orb maybe. Just 3 attacks with U-turn to provide pivot support and to just keep momentum going. And I think just like I said with the last pick, fun. I think another theme that you could add to my team to go along with fun is momentum. I think there's only like 2 or 3 Pokemon that don't have a form of momentum, being Teleport, Flip Turn, U-turn, or Volt Switch. And so that's kind of exciting, and I just think it's such an underrated way to battle, just to keep momentum up and keep your opponent guessing, and just always being in a good position is kind of underrated. And I'm excited to kind of take full advantage of that this season. And I ultimately, looking back at this team, I think it's going to perform very well. I don't necessarily have, last season I had Blastoise, and it was fun and kind of just way too easy to sit there and click Shell Smash and just kind of run through opponents when the opportunity arose. But I don't necessarily have a single setup sweeper on my team. My team looks like it's going to be able to chunk a lot of teams down and kind of whittle them away, and then make way for Megalopen to come in and clean the game up, or even Frogadier some weeks maybe, or Set Trick Room and Slowbro can do its thing. I think this team is very versatile in the way that it can win week in and week out, and I'm excited to take this team to playoffs potentially, and I am looking to add a crown this season to the franchise. So that's the team. I hope you enjoyed the draft analysis video. We have a 9-week season in the Indigo Plateau division for the Quarantine Draft League, and our first opponent, week 1, is against Moon T and the Backstreet Scraggies. I look forward to battling him. I'm chomping at the bit to get this thing going. I'm sure he is too, and I look forward to bringing you that video, the team builder, and the live commentary once that is done. So thanks for sticking it out to this point. If you have, hey, show your support, leave a like, subscribe. I'll be bringing you the whole season of the Quarantine Draft League, all 9 weeks of it, and hopefully 3 rounds of playoffs. And I'm looking forward to it. Hope you are. And I'll see you later, guys. Peace.